Welcome to the Rewards Master. If you would, please hit that like button and subscribe. And today we're going to kind of discuss a topic that I know won't be overly popular in the community as far as points and miles go. But I've just come to believe, even though it's so kind of counterintuitive for what most people think, that indeed the cards that provide airline-specific lounge status are actually better than the general travel cards that provide Priority Pass or Centurion Lounge or even Capital One or Chase Sapphire Lounge access. And I'm going to tell you why coming up. Okay, now that opinion is certainly not shared by, well, as far as I know, really anybody else in the community. But I got to thinking about it because I looked and I have visited over 40 lounges this year, 40. And of that, I mean, we've visited several lounges that are part of, some of the airline networks in regard to One World or Star Alliance that are available when you're flying business class overseas. So we've been into some of those kind of alliance-specific lounges. I've been into, I think, one United Club lounge, almost 20 American lounges, almost 20 Delta lounges as well. And then I've been in the Capital One lounge, I don't know, close to 10 times, American Express Centurion 5 or 6 times, and Priority Pass, and even 2 or 3 visits to Priority Pass restaurants. So I think I'm probably in a pretty good position to be able to judge this. Now, where this is coming from, there is no doubt, do not misunderstand my assertion here, there is no doubt that many of the lounges that come with the better travel cards, like the Capital One card or, especially the American Express Platinum, all of that, are better lounges. I mean, the best Admirals Club does not in any way line up with like the Capital One lounge or an American Express Centurion. So that's not what this is based on. Now, the one you could maybe make an argument for would be the Delta Sky Clubs. They can be very nice. So Delta, that may not apply to them. But when it comes to United and American lounges, they're not overall as good. So why would I think that it's better to hold like the United Club card, the Delta Reserve card, or the American Airlines Executive MasterCard? Why would I think those are better than something like a Venture X card or an American Express Platinum, Chase Sapphire Reserve? Why on earth? Well, because of this. I suppose that if you only fly 1 or 2 times a year, those other cards are better. I fly 16, 18, 20 times a year domestically, and several other people do too. If you fly a lot, and I don't know what the line would be as far as when this would become true for a person, but if you fly a lot, and I guess maybe 10 times or more per year, then you've got this issue where I often think, well, I want to go over to the Capital One Lounge. I fly through DFW all the time. Sometimes I fly through Denver too. And I think I want to go over there. But you know what's always true? It's always in another terminal. I mean, almost every time. But what I end up doing is I just go over to the United Club because it's right there. Or I go over to the Admirals Club if I'm flying American. Or on Delta, you just find a Sky Club. Usually there's 1 or 2 or 3 close by, closer than if you go to a Centurion Lounge, or if you run over to a Capital One Lounge or a Chase Lounge or whatever. They're often in different terminals. So what do you do if you have a 1-hour layover and you want to get some free food? Well, here's my deal. I pay for those cards. I want to use the benefits. I always try to go to a lounge. If I have a 3-hour layover, or if I have a 1-hour layover or 40-minute layover, I'll go into the lounge for 20 minutes, grab something to drink, grab some free food, then I don't have to pay for it in the terminal. And because, it's a benefit, I paid for that benefit, I want to get that benefit. So when it comes to speed and convenience, even though the lounges are not typically as good, except maybe for Delta, the speed and convenience is so much better. And I have found if I did not have those airline cards that had lounge access, I would go to far fewer lounges. Because what I don't want to have to do when I'm trying to get somewhere is to schedule 3-hour layovers intentionally every single time. Now, for me personally, I have both. I have, I think, 3 cards that have Priority Pass. I have access to Capital One lounges and to Centurion lounges. And if I've got a 2-hour plus layover, I go to the better lounge. But if I only had to choose one, I think because of convenience, I think because of just the fact that they're everywhere, and the fact that because I'm flying with a specific airline, that means I'll be flying through their hubs, and all of the hubs. If you're in Atlanta, there are Delta Sky Clubs. If you're at DFW, there are Admirals Clubs. If you're in Houston, there are United Clubs, or Denver. If you're in places like New York, all of them have clubs there. Pretty much, you don't have to worry about, well, what if there's not a lounge, or what if I don't have enough time? If you have an airline-specific lounge and you're flying on that airline, you are going to be able, I mean, even if you got 40, 50 minutes, you're going to be able to go into a club, get some benefit almost every time you travel. Now, I know this is a hot take. It is not a commonly held opinion, and I just don't hear it talked about much. But I would love to hear your response, what you think. Tell me, am I off base here? And please don't argue just that they're better, because I'm admitting that they're a lot better. But how do you balance that out with the convenience? And I think the best question to answer that I'd love to hear what you think about is, how often does a person have to fly for this to be true? Is it 4 times a year, 6 times a year, 8 times a year, 14 times a year? I don't know. But for me, I know if I had to choose one or the other, and I don't, thank goodness, I can have both. But if I had to choose one or the other, I think the convenience and the ability to get value every single time, even if it's not quite as good a value, means that I would lean for sure toward the airline-specific cards with those airline lounges that are reliable and always close by. Let me know what you think. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button, and we'll see you here next time.